Building is 4 floors high, utilitarian neo-Gothic style, a masonry, cast iron brick, and sandstone building. Next page, please.
Let's see, next page. Yep, multitasking. One more. Punch it again.
I'm sorry, may I suggest?
Yeah.
Because this is a reapplication, right?
There we go.
Timed out, right?
Yes.
So you already had this approved,
There we go.
right?
Yeah,
Okay, and now you're presenting the same design as you had before,
Very stupid.
pretty much,
pretty much, same scope of work.
yeah.
Okay, so because you gave us the documents before, instead of going through the whole history, the scope is very simple. Right? So they want to rebuild the storefront downstairs, which they already got approved. All that happened was that he timed out. And they want to tear out,
Hello, how are you?
and they want to, welcome, please.
We
sit down.
started. I mean,
And what they want to do is tear out, because it's two buildings they're co-joining.
Yeah,
They're
that's-
joining.
Yeah.
They want to tear out the party hall. But that's an interior thing. We don't vote on that. I don't understand why we don't vote on interiors.
Right, based on multiple meeting with the LTC pre-revisionist, they said that they kind of changed the intro sort of rule of a reviewing process. Even if the interior party wall has nothing to do with major exterior view, they said that because of the party wall of the interior, had to go to public hearing process. But they need to send this community board meeting as a first step. That's why.
Okay.
we approve.
Because it has, no, it's not a historical interior and,
Will you tell me? No, don't tell me. We have a long night ahead of us. Okay, which one's it?
you've been married a long time.
20 years.
You should know better.
So finish.
The point is to help us and to expedite the evening. If you just show, because I already know this really well. If you just showed us, this is the storefront that we're proposing, right? This is the existing, here's the proposed, and show them the location of the party wall. And the party wall goes all the way up to the rooftop, right? And you're keeping that part, which is the
Right.
only visible part. I am stumped by this application, but if you can do that, rather than giving us this whole thing,
Sure.
because it's inapplicable to what we do here.
Yeah, we can go to the page, G 106, please. Yeah, so basically, there's a wall that nearby the stairs right there.
Yeah,
Those are the walls that we want to remove. It goes from first floor all the way up to roof, but like you said, we're gonna keep the roof portion, just it goes outside.
Fine,
So it's-
yeah,
we don't need-
only interior portion. So that's the whole scope that we want to talk about.
okay.
It's just a.
no, but you also want to have the storefront reapproved.
Correct.
Can we see the storefront?
Yeah, sure, that's
This is a
the
different group, we may not approve
page, A 301.
real.
That's,
Stop here for 1 second, go back, Lucy, please.
He said Adriel.
I know, but I'm helping.
that's the existing and then, yeah. you-
Yeah, go back.
Another one, go back.
There you go.
This is the elevator,
Guys gotta give me the pages, 302.
this one, fail
You're
too.
doing it.
So here is the proposed elevation, right? And here is the wall between these two buildings that they want to tear out, whatever, but they're keeping the visual, this part. And here is the new stairhead bulk and some mechanical equipment that falls out of the view. So, and the bottom is,
New.
is the new storefront that apparently that approved, but we can now have a comment. And there is no awning, no signage, no lighting. And don't get fooled, these lines are just, they're graphic. This is all very, very stripped down.
What is the material of the storefront?
Exactly. You take it.
It's going to be the
It's
sandstone.
going to be, the metal, window framing, and then just rest. And then there is a, one existing, metal column remaining. And all other new, sort of, metal column is going to mimic the existing, column.
Okay,
The one thing that I would like to emphasize for this project, specific is that, as she said, that it's been approved, the construction has started during COVID. The construction stopped, and the owner is, located in Thailand, sort of, very hard, to manage this, New York City construction process. Architect and, general contractor disappeared, and, you've also kind of a little bit, long history of it, but not many of the historical elements that we kind of try to something new.
yeah, I don't see any pictures showing if there's historical stuff left or not. I'm really familiar with the corner. But I would say, I'm gonna make a comment and then we'll go around and we'll just close this thing out. I find that the water table is a little low, meaning where you have your bottom rail of glass, it's a little low for my liking. I think that's maybe what partially is getting you out of the staff level zone, but I would prefer to see a higher, kind of base there.
In the front.
Whether it be metal.
Are you talking about the water table
Yeah,
here?
exactly, the metal, right. You know, in the old days, they didn't, the windows didn't go down to the floor, and this feels low to me, but that's just that's because we're
No,
here.
I don't
You guys,
disagree with
you know, you guys are the best.
No, I think you make a very good point, so there.
So what do you think,
No comment at this
Great.
point.
Alice, you're here tonight, grace us with your, this is Canal Street.
I know
and
this is our
Portland Place.
neighborhood, yeah, I would love to see it before and after
No
that.
pictures, it's
There's
hard.
got
to
a
know.
pictures
Just
on-
imagine, you would have to know. You have any pictures?
I'm not big on imagining.
I know, it's hard.
They had a picture of the old at the beginning, not good enough.
Yeah. Well,
Now,
What was before? Was that the same? Is that the same?
Actually, I have to say this, that again, that the construction has started and is stopped. So as I walk down the corner street as of now, it's all fenced. The storefront, existing storefront all taken out. So, when I documented as a New York record, that it is so hard for me to retrieve the existing and original storefront element. So it is what it is, but I have a record of original approval. Back in 2015 year, there was original approval, but even back then,
Mayor, help us.
existing storefront looks like, it's not something that's what they keep it as an existing history of a building element that's all like, like illegal, like retail, street, like, all of that kind of thing.
I know.
It's so hard to,
you see there, it's mostly obstructed.
It's a real crack house, that's for sure. I know it well.
May I?
It's been like that for 20 plus
Yes,
years.
yes,
I
yeah.
know that.
Is that a
Back in
different
my house,
look?
I know you live there. You can imagine what this build, it's the one that's never been anything other. It has a huge canal, you're gonna fall through. Someone's gonna fall through the sidewalk right there for 15 years at least. on that.
So
So,
I have a question.
yes.
What are they going to do with it?
in terms of proposed new use, first floor is going to be restaurant. Second and third floor is going to be offices, and fourth floor is going to be, retrieving the previous, law. I think.
Residential.
Yeah, residential.
Yeah, there's no such thing as a loft anymore. You can't make a
Is
loft.
that one unit or two units?
One
up
unit.
there?
Okay, great.
And who's gonna live up? You,
Uh,
the architect gets to live there?
George, a poet or an
It's
artist.
it's
Somebody.
Okay. So,
large.
does anyone else have anything to say?
What's the
Yeah.
metal? Aluminum?
What's the metal? Aluminum?
we try to put, based on discussion with the LPC, that's, they should me to do like a real metal, but I don't think.
What's real metal? Tell us more about that.
Like,
Cast iron?
No, they couldn't possibly ask him to put cast iron.
Stainless steel.
So what are you thinking real metal is? I think aluminum's a real metal.
aluminum is a real metal, but, I think that
Steel.
I think that, to be honest, that it's not going to be a very custom metal.
No, we understand that, but you have to say what it's gonna be tonight.
Aluminum.
Aluminum, not stainless steel.
Extruded aluminum in what color?
Color is going to be,
It's in the.
yeah, it's in the.
Yeah, it says black?
So it's in the.
Okay, well, we'll say, okay.
The drawings look like it was, had some texture to it.
Or, no, I told you that was graphic.
It's just to show glass. You know, have you-
No.
No, he means the front. I know what he means. Go back.
I didn't say you didn't know it.
Somebody's speaking my language.
You guys are jiving, obviously. Hey, the jokes are-
We're really.
Did you guys not eat today? Is that what I'm getting?
Yeah. Somebody didn't bring enough Skittles for the class.
Well,
What's,
I need one Skittle meal a day.
are the diagonals?
Yeah, the vertical.
Those are cast iron columns.
Right, but are they here?
You took
Yes, they are. There was a gray, you can see
talking
the
about
gray
the
one
blue.
here. There you go. Yeah, it's like a
But
fluting.
they still exist,
Yes,
yes?
they do. I'll show you a
One,
picture.
and they're replicating the other.
Okay, that's an example of what
Right.
they're graphically trying to show.
So that's been replicated in aluminum.
How many of those are original
That's
to
what.
remain?
Okay,
One original remain, and then I have to replicate, 1, 2, 3, and 4.
And what material are you replicating in?
7,
Huh? What real metal are you replicating them in?
the.
Cast iron
the
or
pilaster.
Fiberglass or aluminum? Because you can't get aluminum.
Aluminum.
Mm,
Oh.
mm.
Well, step back a little bit here.
Step it?
What I was advised from LPC members, that's, again, that this is a little bit of weird sort of a review process. There are, again, that's the exterior has been approved, and we're not proposing any new. And they're saying they could review and approve that exterior storefront as a STEM level, but we here for the interior patio approval. So.
So hard to know what
Yeah, I
everyone's up
understand.
here for, you know? No, I completely understand. I'm in the biz, but everybody else that's not here, that never listens, doesn't have any clue what you and I are talking about, and it's just confusing. That's the bottom line. You need to come and say, it is blank metal. It goes here and there. If that's in the drawings, and you know that for a fact, and with confidence, you can say it is this, I'll believe you. But if it's not, or you're contradicting what's in the drawings, it's gonna be tough for us to approve renewing or anything new. When did it expire?
I think that 2 years ago.
Took 2 years to come back?
Again, again,
I understand, it's about a
I'm not
7
the
year.
original to correct.
No, I know.
It's not, don't worry about it.
Yeah, I'm not mad or anyone cares.
Again, we'll see the elevations so that I can.
I'm sorry, which one?
The elevations on 302. So what we're asking is, oh, these glasses are gonna kill me. Where is a note calling this metal? So let's say, I don't care, this is the existing, and you're
Mhm.
gonna replicate these four, right? Where is the detail for this and where are you calling the material out?
Thank you, Chad.
You mean the profile of the existing?
No, the
I
material.
think that the note says that.
What the note? Where,
Yeah, we gotta know.
where's the note? Is this the same as that?
Well,
You can-
how about
Find
this?
out.
Right. We want it to be cast
Cast
iron.
iron.
Yeah, it's actually noted as a cast iron column painted with the Benjamin Moore history color.
Great. So the columns are gonna be cast iron. The storefront is gonna be aluminum. And the color is on there, and it's very similar to what, if not exactly like what you had before. And yes, I understand that when you affect the structural stability of a building like this, it has to go to the commission, therefore it has to go to us. Totally understand it. So let's just do this, okay? Unless anybody
Yes,
objects.
as long as it's cast iron, I'm
Yep,
a happy girl.
Exactly. Two people online who wants to talk? Oh, well, we're all done here? We're all done?
Yeah.
You guys done? Okay. Guy in the back? Okay over there?
Totally fine.
Okay.
It's not him.
Yeah.
It is him, whoever you hit.
You're confirming that the replacement is a cast iron column,
Mhm.
and you're confirming that there's this aluminum base that Jason was referring to. I mean, all these things are being confirmed, and you're gonna have that in the resolution. I have no idea what it is that is
We do.
being resolved.
We're pretty
Well, hold
clear.
on a second. We're not that's just my personal opinion about the lowness of it. If it's the same as before,
Yeah.
I don't wanna put my personal opinion on anybody else. I wasn't planning on writing into the resolution because it's just my personal opinion and no one else is here. So as far as I'm concerned, we're approving this as it's been given to us today.
That's right.
As presented is better than what's there at the moment.
I mean, it happens to be a particularly derelict building with other buildings around the corner that have been derelict for a while. They're very long. So let's go. Don't need to second that.
Wait, can you see if anyone online has a question?
Sarah or Theodora, do you have any questions for us?
LPC, what is this project? It's not very clear. So that's why I.
Okay. You ready?
Okay. All those in favor?
I said call the question.
I second.
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
And Alice, do you get to vote?
Of course he does.
You don't get to
Why
vote?
not?
Because I'm not a member of your committee, just for
But as
tonight.
vice chair, no?
I don't know.
I don't know.
Whatever it is, I
He
agree
does.
with
I'm
everybody.
not a-
Well, when they respond back to me, if you, blah, blah, blah.
I don't think so.
I mean,
We have any-
do not want to get in trouble.
Yes, we did. He already acted as a student.
Well,
this
this only
time-
counts. You don't need my vote. That were
Who else is here?
I'm really here for this.
Bruce quit on us and most other people quit on us.
Even what you're gonna do.
On this committee or in general?
Mostly both.
Oh, got it.
I get the sense you're sticking around for a while. 63 Nassau, how are you guys? Come join us over at the table area.
We're done,
Thank you.
sir.
Oh,
We're done.
Thank you.
We're
Thank you.
done.
Awesome.
Very
How
much.
did your thing?
We're done.
Well,
What Tuesday is your hearing?
Actually, I'm not sure. When's the hearing?
I think that we talked about, if you don't mind, let me email.
It doesn't matter really, but yeah, tell me anyway. We're meeting, I think, tomorrow or something anyway. So
Tomorrow's our board meeting, so we'll
doesn't
let you
even
know.
matter.
I'll let you know Wednesday.
So you want us to sit back here? or-
If I,
Come close, come
Good
on.
evening. Thank you so much for giving us the opportunity to appear in front of your board.
Yeah.
It's very kind of you. Hopefully this one is gonna go a little bit faster than the
Okay,
other.
that was pretty fast, but thank you. Okay.
Yeah, that was not, that's.
You're
what
not tearing this building down, are you?
Absolutely not.
Okay.
No. We just getting rid of all the garbage that's in the building.
Oh, yeah, you did the store meeting.
Yeah, right.
We're not paying.
No, we did ask for.
Okay, so next thing. Yes, we would all love my handouts. That's great. Wow, thank you so much. Okay, one for you, one for me. That's here you go. Send them down actually this way, I think.
All right. Need to put this.
Okay, so you don't need it, that's fine. Let me see, needs one for the crypt.
Thank you.
No, again,
Okay,
we all live here.
I totally.
right, we're not gonna hear about George Washington.
I totally respect what you're doing. Basically, you wanna keep the integrity and the quality of, the architecture in the neighborhood. And, I totally understand, and at the end of the day, it increases the value of the buildings and everything is gonna be much nicer.
Okay, so tell us about 63 Nassau Street and what the scope that's gonna be in front of the commission is.
Okay, so good evening. Members of the committee. My name is Ryan Sani. I'm one of the owners of 63 Nassau Street. I'm here to present to you tonight the restoration of the storefront and the proposed bulkhead for site safety. For fire safety. This building was originally built in 1844. Cast iron facade was added in 1857, 1859 by James Bogardus. Our goal is to respectfully restore the architectural elements. And, okay, so pretty much the first page, the second page, LPC two,
Mhm.
gives you an outline of what the type of work is.
Yes, I saw that. I would love, this LPC 8 is something I'm really liking. If we want to look at the storefront, you guys want to talk about that?
Sure.
That talks about a lot for me. So you guys walk us through what's happening. It looks like tell us what's existing, tell us what's proposed. This looks like a better proportion for me than the first. So I'll make it all right.
I'm looking at LPC 9 in the left-hand corner.
Okay, so,
Oh, 9 is the next one.
Oh, okay, but I just want, give me the existing and proposed storefront, and then give us the existing proposed top of the building, right? Right next to each other. I see. But tell us about this proposed storefront. Is it wood? Is it painted?
is a cast iron, we were able to take the existing cladding
Uh-huh.
that's chrome off, and you
Yes.
see in following pages.
Yes.
We did probing, we were able to, find an existing cast iron detail still intact. And we're hoping to be able to restore the cast iron details. That's the
What a
probing.
true fantasy. Okay, but reality, actually. Amazing. So it looks like this? You know it to look like this on LPC 26? You know it to look exactly like this? Or is this just kind of like, we think it looks a little bit like this?
This is the projected, what we.
This is projection of what you, okay, so why don't we do this? Can you tell me, are you going to remove any of the existing
Cladding.
historic material? No, cladding I get you're removing. On the right side, this rendering, which I think people are probably having trouble seeing, but it looks like very much like a rendering. It shows things a certain way, right? Meaning, the proportions of the columns and this and that. You've surveyed this enough to know it's going to look like this, or this is some sort of assumption?
This is an assumption, the
Okay.
actual details
Good.
on the architectural proposed, it gives you dimensions, inches, and that, infill between the two cast iron is going to be made out of wood and it painted.
I want to try to get my point across. Let's say, right here, you show this water table or whatever at, let's call it 18 inches. I'm not saying, it's hypothetical, right? But what you are saying here tonight, and you're gonna say to the commission is, whatever we find beneath there in cast iron, we're going to leave it there and we're gonna refurbish it. Is that correct?
Just, what we were able to find is just the two columns on the side.
Ah,
Everything else was demolished over the
Okay.
years, and what we were able to do is restore the columns on the side.
mhm.
The infill right now is nothing more than aluminum
Yeah, garbage.
chrome,
Yep, mhm.
and we're going to, recreate with wood and.
All the
try-
elements with wood. The
Correct.
doors, the columns, so to speak, everything. What do people think about that, guys?
If you look at
He's
the
saying,
last page, it has a big.
okay, he's saying that's all custom woodwork painted out to be beautiful versus the aluminum garbage that someone else might come. We like that?
Which part was found?
The two side columns that they have.
On the ground floor.
Right.
Right?
Okay.
Here, the original.
I mean, I'll tell you what's missing, I'll tell you what's missing is a cornice, obviously.
Yeah.
I know that it's not there anymore, but that would help, because the columns have a place to
Do that.
die into.
It'll make the building
But,
live longer.
you know, that's okay.
Any cornice that it would you like a gothic cornice, what sort of a design do you have in mind?
No, just the most regular, bent metal cornice, it's just to have a cornice at
That's
the
what we
bottom,
put in.
whatever it is.
Right.
Yeah, maybe it's there, I guess it's there.
Jason, look at LPC 9, please, for me.
So,
Way back.
I know, you can borrow my glasses.
I need a plus one and a half.
Uh-huh. If you don't, you have 1.25 if that helps you.
I see, yeah, that's a.
Back,
okay.
okay.
Yep.
And then
Looks
look
good.
then you look at 26,
I'm learning,
and you look at the last page
okay. The very last page, the blow up page.
with the
beautiful
brown
page.
wood, blah, blah, blah.
Looks so gorgeous, I hope that you can deliver this.
Yes. we
And the
also-
color is like this like, battleship gray or whatever you wanna call it?
So we did a historical paint analysis on this building because we're restoring the cast iron above
Yes.
right now. LPC wanted us to match it the same exact color as, this is one of five, James Bogardus.
Oh, it's one of Bogard's.
Yes, so-
Okay, that's
The
terrific.
color has to match coming down.
Yep,
This
this is amazing, what a gem.
yeah, so we are hopefully be.
That's what we're proposing to do.
Can I ask,
Okay, who wants to go? I'm done.
I just have a question. It looks magnificent and what a great, wonderful building that you're working on and to bring that back to life. Just in terms of what I think you're talking about a little bit with the cornice, I think the entablature sort of above the columns on the ground does work as the cornice, but above that, it looks like the columns from right above, if you, is there a shot of that, have no base on them. And that looks peculiar to me.
I
don't know,
understand,
that
you're
because-
talking about between
If
the
you
two
go-
doors.
No.
No.
If you go up, and maybe it doesn't exist, I assume.
No, it
But
does,
showing the existing as no base on the columns on the second floor, right? I just want to,
well, that's the cornice. You're calling it based on the columns on the second
I'm
floor.
talking about, no, if you.
Here,
if
this
there's a
area,
shot-
you see my thing?
Yeah, not that.
Okay,
If you
above
go
that.
up Above that.
Okay.
And I don't think there's a photograph of it, but
Okay,
But
Yeah.
that's the existing addition.
that's existing. And that might just asking if there's confirmation, it's a little unusual. There are no bases on those columns.
oh, maybe there are, Alice, we don't see them, but
Well,
you're
that-
saying like
well,
right at the
It
very
doesn't
base?
appear on the drawings, is what I'm saying.
I see what you're
Jason.
saying,
If you
yeah,
go
it's
on to-
coming up too high.
LPCO 8, they're like, they've been cut. The
I agree.
Little feet
The
there.
columns need to have bases. It might be just oversight, but like you see how this has a base? This doesn't have a base. It doesn't make sense.
So you, are you,
I bet you'll find space for
are
that.
you proposing some form of like a flint block sort of a thing?
I just am curious,
I'm just trying to.
it didn't exist? It doesn't exist.
Here, look,
New?
here's the existing.
Yeah, I think you need to
Yeah,
have.
architect.
I mean, that's,
No, I'm actually mostly
I,
equipped.
I agree.
so,
Uh,
okay, good.
We-
I know exactly.
But the
You're
base.
for.
Yeah,
I
I
would
would,
be an architect, but I didn't know. That's why I told you 9 versus.
Right.
so I don't know, given all the beauty of the building. But they have space.
Yeah.
It would mimic the thing right above it.
Hold on a second, he's trying to get something in the drawing, I think we have something that may satisfy your curiosity, but let's see. No,
Curiosity, it doesn't.
No, I
appear on
understand
your elevation.
Was right.
I'm respectful, fully fine.
I'm getting that sense, actually.
Okay.
I appreciate it.
Just, maybe, yeah, that's all.
Okay, so
I.
call the question, or we?
Well, you,
Well, wait,
I
but
just work on Long Island, I go through ARB, and what you guys bring up is very valid, as
Yeah.
opposed to some people.
Well-
Missing this, maybe.
Mine missing
Are
someplace.
we putting
That
out?
doesn't make sense, so they don't like a certain color because they don't like it.
We're missing that part, right? It's probably there, maybe it's gone, because it's an old piece of cast iron that went around, but you see the part we're missing, right? Every column has a base. It's this
Yeah.
part. And it may very well be there, it might be just an error in your drawing.
I got a question. Would you be able to go
Thank
to
you.
LPC 21?
Yes.
yeah.
I was there.
Ah, oh, I see, I wanna zoom, yeah, so what's happening there is, it's just a piece that they may have chopped off or thrown away when they covered it, but obviously every column has a base, and this one, it lost it, that's okay.
Right. Yeah, I agree with you. It shows that even the paint colors it looks like there might have been a box. We could, restore the box.
Yeah, I feel like you seem like the type of guys who are gonna do shop drawings and get this all right, landmarks require such things, and you're gonna do it. I get a sense, I see a lot of people go,
Since you guys are architects, maybe just talking a little bit, but as you know, right now, the fashion is you're wearing sneakers without socks. I'm wearing sneakers without socks, maybe it's the new fad, one does not have to do this.
a column without a base, I think it's easy.
No, I think
Yeah.
I want it.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, I want our.
You want our bases, because we
Yes.
build up from our bases.
No, I'm not giving you, it's just a little joke.
I know.
Little-
You can tell how charming the girl is.
Anyway.
It's from the door.
I'm glad to be of service.
And tell them.
Thanks, Al.
I don't believe someone being.
Doesn't have to be.
That's the April from the trip.
And who would
Yeah,
ever?
right, It's saying it's a dozen that has no base.
No, I agree, no, we gotta.
Oh.
That's not
So
the
that-
point is that.
I mean, it will change the,
Yeah.
All
It
of
will
them
change
are for beauty, right?
Yeah, yeah.
They are. the-
I understand.
Yeah.
And when it comes down, right, it's best to distribute it, otherwise you spin it.
I understand.
Wall Street is that right over here, you see how the paint color is kind of,
What comes before? You know?
different? It seemed there might have been.
I think, you know, one of
in this small piece in here is what.
with the
Vera-
big ones that are close together.
I-beam that's supposed to.
Yeah.
Not the I-beam.
Also just to say, so this
Okay,
is the
so
one,
calling the
which is
question.
indicated, it looks like, and I might go back to
So
the
we're-
historic drawing, it'll show it.
You can't talk amongst yourselves because people online. Okay, so ask the question.
So, to satisfy, your requirements, yes, we will have some sort of a base over there to give it some architectural, integrity and beauty. So it doesn't look like we bought something from Home Depot and we went to lunch and we came back. It
Yeah.
looks like it was done from day one and it belongs over there.
So she's saying Doric columns don't have
It's
bases,
fluted Doric.
which this is like that? I don't know. Doesn't the Doric go like tapered like this?
That's what I
This is
remember.
not,
This is Porcinian.
this is not a Doric column gag for those of you, those architects in the room.
What? Not Doric.
You're speaking beyond my comprehension. I don't understand.
A composite,
There's three
column
I
that
added,
has a capital and a base is indicated on the top.
and there's
or
one
the
up.
bottom.
I can't remember.
Wow, that's
There's
the
three.
expert in.
Okay, whatever you are, this is.
And so Greek Doric, which is fluted, it's don't have a.
Doric, Ionic, and Corinthian.
The reason, Al, is that he doesn't work is because this one has emphasis, so as it's coming down, right, it doesn't have a base, and it gets bigger and bigger and bigger, and it goes
Ionic,
to the ground.
and then Corinthian, the
Yes.
first ladder.
I'm gonna call the question.
I'll second it.
Everything's fine.
Okay.
Anyone
Can I ask just
online?
one quick question?
Yes, there
Yes.
were people.
What do we say? I don't know the technical term, the medallions that are on the column.
Yeah, the full medallions, that's the right word, a medallion.
Nailed it. They're all being restored?
We
Yes.
cannot, technically not allowed to restore it. There, Benjamin Franklin, George Washington, I believe, is missing. It has to be an original or it's a, this is also federal, listed. And we're going through, SHPO on, Albany as well and, DC for the interior work. No, I cannot replace what is gone. So
I don't think he was asking that, but were you asking replacing gone? And now that you know that something is gone?
Well, no, I can see that through the foreground
Okay,
with my eyes.
Yeah.
So, so they're not being replicated?
I'm sorry,
The missing ones are not being replicated?
can't be replicated unless it's the exact original. We don't have anything to be able to recreate it or it has to be very,
And so what about the ones that do remain?
the two remaining ones are intact and they're restored. We've been through the process for that already.
Cool.
I have one other question. Are these the only photographs of this Bogardus storefront in the history, in the archives of New York City?
Yes, I mean, there's maybe a few more, meaning 1940s, 1930s.
But nothing from earlier? I
No,
mean,
we
did
were
a
able
full-
to find, basically the 1959 alteration of Department of Buildings. We were able to find the,
Did you go to the municipal archives by any chance and look at the actual archives of the history of the site or I think that's.
we went,
I would just say that I would recommend that, and I don't know if that's something that the committee would consider, that prior to saying no to Jason's thought about, I'm sorry, to, Jared's thought about having the medallions, you know, if they exist and you can get some pictures of them, it might be a beautiful aspect
I
to.
would love to add them. So if
So
that's the question, I would say we are.
I think-
go for it.
Yeah, I would think that, I would imagine you'll get help at LPC or maybe somebody in the federal.
When they designated.
Yeah, they will
Right,
help.
there must be
They
something.
write it up. They write it up and they
New York Historical Society, Public Library, those are three really good ones. There's also some online things, Old NYC. There are a lot of pictures of these buildings.
And it'll
The
show you.
Shippo, the crisp stuff, whatever's in
So we'll
Shippo.
put it in our
This was just
resolution that if
certified
they can.
2024, we went through the whole process, every,
Oh, you got certified recently?
correct, for the,
Oh, okay, so then they have what you have on that.
yeah.
Okay, so, well, Alice is right, there's you're in the center of the universe, you can find so much stuff.
Just to make sure you've looked at everything that's available, you don't want to go and do this in front
In
of
our
you.
resolution, we'll
Wait,
say,
whoops,
they
maybe
can
that's
find
a
it.
picture we could have done.
No.
You don't also find the base of the columns probably.
I,
But yeah.
It'll be beautiful. Great, then.
Okay,
Medallions everywhere.
you guys probably want to get on with your night, right? Okay, good. Call the question.
Is there anyone online that has a question? Raise your hand.
It's nice.
All right.
Call the question. All in favor? Aye.
Opposed, recusal, none? Motion carries.
Rockland, dude. Really nice. Great building.
Thank you so much.
Very lucky.
Thank you.
Very impressed.
You can take this back.
Yes.
What about it?
Yes,
You may.
You want to add it to the historical, why are you adding it to Shippo? For some sort of taxation?
Yes.
I can't. I would check them.
But in this census tract, there's
It's
something
not-
available? Oh,
It's just the federal.
gosh.
Okay, thank you.
Good.
Thank you so much.
Way to go.
Won't you get money for that too?
They got it very small.
Yes.
You get a lot of money.
tax credit.
Get some tax credits there, so do it good, do it well.
That's being covered in thing property.
Thank you.
Oh, State Historic Preservation Office.
Thanks so much, everybody.
Bye-bye.
I always noted.
Yeah. It's in Albany.
Don't worry, this courier wants to.
No.
It's the new
Take
one?
them down.
Yeah,
They haven't been strong enough.
I think so.
It is.
So I wrote, that's a
Good,
big,
even better.
I don't think that's strong enough.
the one I wrote.
They're the-
And
Them all.
then,
I think we say it pretty clearly.
I've been doing this 30 years.
Your
I
resolution,
would make it even harder.
Sorry.
your resolution is different, you're doing a second resolution.
Yes. Yes.
PowerPoint's excellent because it really like, as an aggregator of five.
So the juniors are there in my life.
Well, yeah, well,
You know, there's one in.
if you want to get it done in a week, there ain't no junior.
Yeah, right.
Yelled by him.
Hey, Alice, your draft resolution's on the table. I can't show both, but I am showing it.
Yeah, I think we should start with what are the, almost, it might sound crazy, but the next steps after this meeting, because I have a lot of work to do. I wanted to hear from everybody who bothered to come here about like what we think about these things and some sexy sentences or whatever. Alice has done, no, because we have to actually fill out this like report form and we have to give real reasons. Actually, I thought it was important to say, for the most part, those ones on the right side are not really the reasons that you can kind of argue it through the State Historic Preservation Office.
Why? What else?
Unknown health effects, it's great, we all think that, but
It's
it's not.
ugly and it's too tall and it takes.
Again, ugly, we have to give it, it's like a report, you have to kind of make a real rationalization. Yes, well, he raised his hand, so I'm very sensitive to that. No, because I was ignored the whole night with my hand raised the other way. Okay, go.
So, I asked this before. Other community boards have responded already correctly. Board two, I think already.
Well,
had it
there was one supposed to be in front of the building that my mother lives in, a co-op. They fought it on 87th and Madison. Peggy, this is my neighbor, fought the hell out of it.
And they won.
They won. She's gonna talk to me tonight after we met. She'll tell me a little bit more about it. Yeah.
Okay, great. So my point is, why bid
It was
100 more
The building
adjectives?
is the provider.
What?
the building, but it wasn't, the building wasn't the only one fighting. It just happened to coincidentally be that the force
Right,
behind
right,
it was
but
that
the
building.
provider did not.
Right.
So, I mean, for us, we really need to have a mock-up. We need to know exactly where it's gonna be located, and how it's gonna look. Because right now, there's only proposed areas, and we don't know the exact location. There's no mock-up.
Just, I want to hear what everybody has to say and
It
that.
has to be contextual design, right?
This is
Has to be-
presentation from.
I made this just, I whipped it up just very quickly, you know.
Okay, I'm gonna go back to this. wait, I'm not finished, thank you, for the first one, I haven't finished. This has gone on at numerous locations throughout the city, right? Why are we writing one resolution after another? Why can't we just get a universal response? How many times do you have to say?
Vicky, each site, well.
What, each of, I'm sorry, let me just ask one
You're
more
asking a
thing.
question, I
Let me
can answer it.
clarify. Alex, it's 2 feet by 32 feet across the board, right?
No, it's 28 inches by 32.4.
The point is, almost 2 feet or whatever by 32, they're all the same. The design does not change.
Correct.
So like,
It has to be the only way, the way I understand it. I'm sorry, Jared, go.
No, please finish.
No, you can't cut Susan off.
I'm not,
He
No,
wants
I'm just
whatever.
joking, but you gotta go. Go.
You can, each individual community has to take a stand on it. I mean, that is my understanding, that it can't be universal. It has to be within the context of your community and how you are responding to it. That
they're all the same.
it doesn't matter.
I studied it.
And I say, okay, fine, per community board, right? And we have 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 locations.
8.
So Europe doesn't matter, kids,
8.
come
One
on.
was already.
The point is that
Yeah, but
it's
you
all
know-
the same. So you're creating one adjective after another. It's just a boilerplate.
so I joined this Zoom with Alice, and some others, 10 days ago, maybe, Tammy, 10 days ago or so with the provider.
Hmm.
And aside from any of these thoughts about it being ugly, which is subjective, or too tall, which is subjective, I asked 2 questions, which the answers were completely unsatisfactory. The first was, what is the current usage of the Link NYC system? Meaning like, because I'm sure the answer is that it's anemic.
It's what?
Anemic.
Little, very little, okay, yeah.
Anemic, okay.
So there was not an answer given on that, which sort of almost proves the point. And then the second was, what was the second?
The need.
Yeah, what is the actual need? We're in the city of New York where cell phone service is generally quite good. Coverage is quite good, and while this may serve a purpose in some neighborhoods that don't have the same infrastructure and has a purpose towards creating quality as far as access, it has value in that respect. In the middle of Manhattan, there is absolutely no need for this, is there? And the response was, you're not wrong.
Okay.
So
Thank
can
you.
I jump in here?
Yeah.
Okay, so this is pretty, I've studied this a lot, as you probably all know, and I sent around a lot of information.
I
which I'm
read
sensing-
it, including the article
All right,
today that you sent in the
excellent.
paper.
All right, so what the Environmental Protection Committee did was to review the idea of these 5G in Community Board 1 generically. And we received a lot of commentary on everything, which is laid out in this draft, from privacy issues to environmental issues, to issues of need, to issues of no community engagement on the topic, to all the things, and some of which Jason has done in this terrific PowerPoint. What we did, and the reason why Tammy and I decided to divide this between environmental and that presentation of the generic reasons we do not think 5G in the case of the committee is a good idea, until so many questions that were unanswered, including Jared's, get answered. Here in landmarks, because of the expertise of, certain folk on the landmarking aspects of this, these are located in some of the most arguably important historic areas of New York City. Okay? And so that right off the bat, you'd ask yourself, why? When supposedly this is supposed to go into communities of need in digital desert areas. That is actually the mandate of the company. But that said, we are looking, and we've been proposed with 7 sites, 8, one's been rejected by SHPO, the State Historic Preservation Office. And so we have to come up with, as Jason pointing out, very, as best we can, specific reasons why the siting at each of these locations doesn't work. And it's not because of generic ideas, which we all agree, or maybe most of us agree, who knows, we'll
Yeah.
find out tomorrow. But we do have to say that in the case of, for example, 66 Harrison, it blocks a view corridor onto 3 landmark buildings. That it is in a location that when you're looking west is not is looking back at a historic district and within a block of it. Things like that is what SHPO will read and listen to. Everything else, they aren't able to opine on. And it's a law, thanks to Gerald Nadler, who found this out, that we can opine on this. Prior to this legislation, which is 106, which requires the review of SHPO on these sites, these things were built without a review. And what we see is on Bayard Street, which I sent you all, that got built without FCC, without any kind of SHPO review. And as a result of this, now it gets the review. It's found to be across the street from a landmark in New York City, and it has to come down. Okay? So these things count. So had we written, Bayard is in our district, but had we had an opportunity as a community to engage on that site, we would have said, now it doesn't work, it's across the street from a landmark, and SHPO would have said, we agree with you, we don't. So our job tonight, as best we can, is to lay out the 7 sites. We have till tomorrow. We have till the 30th of September to say what the things are that aren't working. And maybe we can't prove our case. I feel I can sort of prove, I told you both I would write up, and I'll share with the committee, 66 Harrison and 100 North Moore in Tribeca. You were doing a lot of work on the financial district sites. And so that's what we're here tonight, okay? We're just looking at the appropriate
So
path.
for example, right, I sit on this committee and on this board, I didn't get any of the background information. You just said this is gonna cut me into a pine.
Yeah.
And I didn't so the way the information trickles down is, missing something. It was poorly executed. I had no idea.
Well, nobody was executing it until Alice jumped in to
Nobody knew.
ring the bell.
So-
Thank you. for
Right,
that.
thank you. So, for example, because if I have, 8 of the same questions, unless, there's something significantly different, I would say all of them ugly, let's say. I'm using very simple examples until she now explains this. And so this is going to an agency, SHPO, that will then consider an approval or disapproval based on the comments that are sent.
And the
makes
problem,
sense to
Vicki, is that,
No, that makes sense.
no,
to me
but just
now.
so you understand, and you could be helpful here, is that we, if you can believe it, in Lower Manhattan, have no preservation group that represents us.
I know.
It is unbelievable. So in other words, all the other sites on the Upper East Side got a lot of
Sure.
noise. Why? Because you had the Carnegie Hill Association and the
Co-ops.
Upper East Side. No, it was the preservation groups
I
who
know,
wrote
but
these
co-ops are
reports,
very-
and the co-ops are rich and
Very-
push back. Nobody in our neighborhood knows. You watch, one of these things goes up and everyone will be freaking out. But-
Where's Bobby De Niro?
Right,
Thank you.
so, we have to get the
Are
word
you
out.
out there?
See, I thought, right, after.
We're the preservation
Taylor
group.
Swift.
Yeah, no, but after the village lost, right, because I was reading in the broadsheet and everything else, West Village won their case.
Yeah.
I sort of thought it was mitigated, like.
No.
For the
Just that
same
one
reason.
site.
I know, but if
And
it's
it's
not
gonna be the
there,
opposite.
it's not good here
It's
either.
actually gonna be the opposite. On the Zoom, they referenced that the 9-foot link cut kiosks, at some point, those are
Phased out.
basically being phased out, right, at some point. And so,
Now, they're being phased.
I would like to walk everybody through the presentation when everyone's ready, just very, very.
Well,
right,
because
more of these
I
are.
have
until
one
we have
question.
the parameter.
My only question, when you walk, I'd like you to walk us through, so that you go through 90 and 95 Wall Street and explain it.
Okay, great.
Go for it.
Okay, so I did a walking tour on the morning of September 21st. Here's 95 Wall Street. Well, okay, I think this is our district and it shows the sites.
Do your whole presentation from the
Well,
beginning.
okay, this is,
Is this not the?
This, I love that
this
stuff.
I made,
Their intro music.
Yeah, this is fabulous.
and,
I didn't understand that nearly as well until I read Alice's comment.
well, okay, so these are the locations. They give these addresses, which you can't, from the address, you would never understand where these lie. So, for example, 95 Wall Street, I went to 95 Wall Street, I had to go basically 3/4 of the way around the building to determine where it was. It's on, we'll see. It's actually like off Water Street at the very end, okay. And then, so these are the ones that, they prevailed, SHPO rejected this Water Street one, I still listed it. And then these are some of the reasons that you really can't, that I won't be presenting to SHPO. I'm really looking for more things like, from the view looking northwest, from here, you see 7 landmarks. Here they are, individual, whatever. So
Okay.
to see where the sites stack up against historic districts and individual landmarks and interior landmarks, you can see there's so many in our neighborhood here, which basically, I guess, is around here-ish.
Just one second, please. So Alice, this menu that he has here, like that we would then use against each site, right? Because we've got to have, is this something that we could borrow from the other sites?
Yeah, I
that
don't
they could
You
do?
guys got sent, I would have hoped so, I think Lucy was doing.
Right,
trying to
if
set
you're
up,
one.
that all of these had submissions of 90-page submissions.
Yeah, city links.
With all of this information
You
on
didn't
it.
read them? I mean, it's okay if you didn't.
I was not going, which
No,
was
it's
like,
not.
fine, 90
Yeah.
pages.
Well, no, you didn't, you skimmed it.
So I did that for you, that's the
Yeah.
point. So if you have questions.
Is this the menu, the?
No, they are very, this is me, like,
You made
taking it and regurgitating it into something that you can
Yeah.
actually understand. It's completely incomprehensible. You have to dedicate, like, I had to scream at Alice completely like a bipolar person before I realized I am going to spend a half a day on this project to make it right. I was very,
Thank you.
I was very worked up.
You fixed the 90-page report that I refused to wait.
Right, so this is the aggregation of it, exactly.
Bravo.
Thank you, Karen.
Now you-
All
now I
gratis,
feel
all
comfortable.
gratis.
Okay, now I. feel
Okay, so then Alice pointed out rightfully so that, another thing that is like contradictory to the citing of these would be their location relative to the flood,
Oh,
plain.
yes.
So this is the West Side District. I had to kind of,
Yeah, just to
cut it up.
if it's in a flood zone, it has to have an environmental impact,
Great.
assessment done. I have this all down also,
Yep.
Jason, so don't worry
Yep.
about it. And so that's a huge one for us, because I think did you establish all of the sites?
Well,
I
it's
know
tough.
that
So,
people-
I tried to be very specific about, like, when you look at this map, what the information, this is the FEMA Special Flood Hazard Areas map, and what it does, and I'll add some dates here, is there's many different versions of this. There's one called the preliminary map, which is the latest one, and, you can see in the zone where there's no, like, pattern overlay, it's called Zone X. Zone X is not a special flood hazard area, it's like a
Yeah, but I,
flood area, okay? So we could add that, like another box.
them are on, I'm pretty sure, because I checked this
Yeah.
a while back, that they're all AE, which is the most acute zone for
Okay.
flooding.
Okay,
So I think we're safe to say, and I already spoke with
Yeah.
with OTI, the Office of Technology and Innovation, about it. And they
Oh.
immediately said, well, we'll design a different type of pole for those areas,
Oh,
rather than,
okay.
and then I said, well, then you'd still have to present them to the
Okay.
community board.
If they were providing an additional band of emergency frequency or something, then that would be an argument for these.
But they're not.
They're not.
No, they're not, no, in
I'm
fact,
saying during a flood event or something.
No.
good point.
okay, so then I
Anyway, so
walked
there we
around
go.
searching for every single one of these, and it was a beautiful day.
Okay, keep going.
So this.
Some
is
might
great.
say the most gorgeous day ever,
I
okay?
did have a coffee or snack with you.
Nothing,
Nothing.
nothing.
Can't
Nothing.
do
It was in between
Sad.
baseball, in between this thing, but I did it.
Jason, so you basically had to guess, and knowing
No,
how.
So I snooped around, so I took, all these are just, I wanted to get every site into the best view, okay? This is a view that I kind of, meandered around to find, that got the church, that got the alleyway of Wall Street. You could take a million other views, they're all in that stupid report, and they don't show anything. But if this is the site, which I found it to be, and this is before, and this is after.
Is that 32 feet? It looks like
I mean,
it's.
I don't know, it's a 32 feet, I'm looking up a little bit, if you guys think it's a little tall.
It's all right, I don't care.
Well, no, be careful if like some reporter takes that shot from tomorrow night.
You know what you can put? Illustrative purposes only.
All right,
Scale.
but that does look a little,
Well,
I
hey,
love it.
you know,
Not to total
This is-
scale.
You buy a beautiful French bread and he gives it to you for
But
free.
here-
No, thank you, it's too fluffy. I don't think so.
Jason, it was anytime we have to add height or something, we always have a mock-up, there's nothing.
Right,
have
I
nothing
put
to
the onus
do
on the
with no
person to
view.
dispute it versus,
We have
you
no,
know,
100%, we have no view
tell
corridor.
me out, tell me.
that.
So
Yeah.
maybe,
Go ahead.
no, I'm just gonna say, so, look, I now need to take this, I need to talk, I should put the crisp number of what this landmark is, the actual visual name. There must be a landmark, maybe there's a couple other ones, as you go back to the
Oh,
map, you
sure,
can
I
see.
bet.
they need to all be listed and actually need to try to snoop them out and say, listen, you might have views of this site that don't show how it's not impacting the historic district, but how can we say that like, now this new thing competing with this is not ruining this?
Right, and some of the arguments that I would think are somewhat salient here are the fact that you're in one of, arguably the most historic area of New York City.
Yes.
You are in a
that's the first
place
one, yep.
with sidewalks that are so unbearably small and are so shared with so many different
Overcrowded.
uses that, you know, how does this really fit in? What is the sort of relationship of it to other features? These are not really historic, but the nature of the area is. So, you know,
Sure, that could be like the opening kind of
Right.
paragraph to several, and we may be able to change the one for the Tribeca district versus the more, early Wall Street area, or Seaport even.
When they dig in these particularly old areas.
Yeah.
and they lay fiber, is there any archaeological materials underneath there?
yeah, they definitely have that as part of those submissions in terms of the,
Yeah.
looking into it, reviewing that.
Yeah.
Yes.
They don't go as deep as I think you're thinking, and,
Well, they have to pour the
maybe,
foundation for that.
That's
Yeah.
5 feet. Is there
well, the foundation I think is already in on these.
No, it's not.
Oh, really?
Absolutely not. No, you can read, no.
Okay, okay.
It's a minimum of 5 feet.
At a certain point, so they need fairly big deep foundation for this. but they
Yeah.
Also, at a certain point, have to connect to the fibers somewhere.
Well, that, I thought, that's what I meant, I thought that there was already, because the links are there, I thought already they have
Well,
this stuff.
No.
then-
Okay,
The submissions will show you these huge lines of almost 100 feet in the ones in Tribeca, for example, that I was really researching. They go all the way from the site, all the way down North Moore Street and into the manhole cover.
Where,
it's like the
where-
Teenage Mutant Ninja
which
Turtles.
direction?
Well, in
Right?
the case of the one on North Moore, it went from the site out to the highway.
actually make
Oh,
it
so
look
good
better,
work.
but you can't help yourself.
The one went west, and I think Harrison might have gone east. Well, look on that
Yeah.
submission packet, and you'll see it.
It's bad.
Yeah,
Well, intuitive, you made it better.
I'm down with change, like, my idea was, I was gonna very briefly go through this during our thing, but so, I mean, I think there was, I didn't do more than one view per site, but like, there's another view where if you're looking down Wall Street and you think the East River at scenic views that aren't technically like on a map as historic are special, then you could probably say that, it ruins the view of the river from the west looking east on Wall Street, so that's the way we need to kind of approach it, I
For
think.
environmental, that's a little park area there?
Yeah,
Can you take that
park.
angle?
The park.
I'm saying from the environmental perspective, it ruins.
Well, I don't know, but now that you say the word park, certainly from the idea of parks in city, I don't think putting a huge post next to a park that we fought for is necessarily appropriate.
You can put that in. I think that's fair
are
in terms
these
of the appropriateness of the specific site.
Appropriate adjacency to park. Inappropriate. Okay, put the other one up.
Yeah,
This
please.
one's a tough one, and I had to kind of, do a little magical dust here, but the idea is that, you see this whole blue thing, that's the historic district. Now, just because there aren't buildings in the district doesn't mean that it's not the beautiful sea, this mast here, so.
Wait, what's the historic district?
See where this chip mast is? And see anything blue here? That's the South Street Seaport Historic District.
okay, got it.
So this becomes a question of, is it appropriate to have such a thing in the foreground of something that is so important historically in the background?
100%. And
Yes,
lots of views.
absolutely.
Yeah, it's about papers.
It's about
Texas design.
It's about our view from.
Yeah, I mean, not entirely, but they've made noise that they might consider another design, but they're still going forward, putting these things in because the city has a contract with.
Money,
City
money,
Bridge
money.
that's saying they have to put them in.
What do you think about this?
So in the meantime, they may be looking at other designs, but they're rolling these
Isn't
out.
that a limerick?
Yeah.
Well, this is hilarious. This
Backwards.
is a perfect example. So when I started
Try to
to
make
look at
sense.
this,
Go on.
I was like, oh, 88 Pine, it's gonna be right in front of this IM Pay, that's Paycom,
If
right?
they could have, yeah.
He looks like a turtle, just as an aside, hilarious. I love that guy. And it's not a landmark? Is that it's not an individual landmark? No.
88, it's not.
But it's obviously worthy,
But
like,
there's-
if you wanna be smart, that's a primo take kind of a. No, it's this white completely office type building, pay-pop, it's all steel. But this is the point, they call it 88 Pine Street, but you have to go behind the building to find this stupid thing.
Right.
And then you have to think, well, how is this gonna disturb my lovely streets? And you just have to go to the south of it and look north and see the beautiful buildings in the Seaport Historic District that'll be blocking and ruining from one vantage point. I could have gone here, I could have gone further back, obviously inappropriate.
The other shot that, and the other argument, Jason, on that side
Yes.
to me is when going south, you've got the Pops, which is being
Oh,
renovated.
yes, the
And,
sculpture garden.
right, and that sculpture garden, and that is, it's not a landmark, but it is
Like the
certainly.
park idea, public
Pops.
open space.
And this thing is
Yes.
directly in a line with, you're sitting in that Pops, and I think that's really.
I took a bunch of pictures of that with that, where they have that space with the circle sculpture.
Yeah,
and that-
Yes, yes, yes.
But you're
Yeah.
sitting there,
Yeah.
you're gonna see this.
Yeah, great,
Is
okay.
this on the Maiden Lane side?
Yes,
Right.
it's right in
Right.
front, and it's also in front of the Maiden Lane Pops. It's
Right.
directly across from the Maiden Lane interior Pops, Jason. That's a
Okay.
beautiful, that's our biggest interior Pops.
I should put it in front of the tower.
Okay, next is, 110 William Street. I mean, this is my favorite. Look at the size of this thing that would be on the corner of this lot. It's ridiculous.
And that's not even accurate, because
Oh.
that site would be 28 inches wide. So you understand that cone, right, the
Yeah.
base of the column, that's only for residential. And the screen
Yeah,
sits inside of it, and that's 18
Oh, I
inches.
gotta flip
But
this
if
thing.
you go into the commercial.
Yeah, the
it's
screen's
26
here on my
inches
picture.
Show
wide.
us the screen.
I'll add a picture of the screen. I don't have,
Okay,
I took it,
all right.
it's not part of my deck here.
I didn't understand that.
Well, that's another thing, is nobody understands anything. That's half of the battle I have in trying to get, you guys are.
I heard you, Alice.
I know you
understood
did.
you. I'm
I
totally with you.
know.
Did I
thank
do
you so
this?
much.
Did I rock it
Yes,
out
I
in
know.
1.5
That was
days
really-
since I had my history?
Particularly insane, right? I mean,
Huh?
this location is particularly.
It's ridiculous.
It's egregious. I
I
don't know
mean,
what
it
else
happens
to
to
say.
look particularly real, which is scary to me as the guy who did it at 1 a.m, but I'm gonna just flip it. This is supposed to be here. This is where the screen is, so logically the screen will be on that side.
No, but the point, it's not just that, you have to understand
You
what
know,
I'm saying.
Photoshop can do AI wise, it's
I
amazing.
wish I
It
knew.
helped me a lot.
I.
Yeah.
Jason,
Want to.
there are two types of these 5G poles,
Yes.
do you
Three
understand?
types, okay,
One is 18 inches wide all the way up.
yep.
Just like what you're showing here.
Uh-huh.
That's only for residential. One has built into it a very large advertising screen where you can advertise, not just get free Wi-Fi. And that is 2 foot 3 inches wide, which, look at my hands. I don't need to tell
There's no
you,
way.
27 inches wide.
Talk about the
Okay.
fact that they.
They're gonna make lunch too.
Yeah.
But the provider missed the
With the jet-
$71 million payment to the city because the advertising didn't generate enough revenue.
I have it in that, I have it in the resolution that I wrote, yeah.
Part of why they've shifted to this based on the
Yes,
Zoom
yes.
is that they thought that the link kiosks would generate much more ad dollars than they did. And so they ended up missing a $71 million payment due to the city.
Yeah,
So
I,
they rejiggered their whole. They hear.
I-
that's why there's
here's
no
the quote.
need for this.
Here's the quote, in 2019, City Bridge was awarded a contract to replace existing payphone booths in New York City with free Wi-Fi kiosks called Links. These are the 9'6" tall metal structures that
Spelling
see
error.
everywhere, which are now, according to City Bridge, and I quote, being phased out and shifted to have more advertising to allow for a second source of revenue with the addition of wireless cellular service, which comes with the installation of the new 30-foot tall towers.
Unbelievable.
They-
You're standing next to us. Explain to me, when you're standing next to this tower, you get free cellular service?
And you're saying- Well, not
You have
free,
to touch it with your hand. It's like a,
I know, it's like.
not free Wi-Fi service.
Refly, not resell.
The cell will be sold to.
Wi-Fi.
So
will
you
be
might
leased out to
still-
Verizon and
The top-
AT&T.
So we're not on.
Tell us.
the-
look at this one. This is the creme de la creme.
It's a work of art.
Here, you know, sell things, the free Wi-Fi
Is
is
it
here.
blocking the Woolworth?
You know, without Wi, if it's wrong.
Oh, my God.
This is where the cell carriers,
Shit.
there's 5, you know,
Good
plug
for
in
you.
that can
They
take
can-
a carrier.
They put a
Okay,
carrier.
but, so you could have.
Even though I don't.
Mobile,
I know.
the thing that the New York Times, that Gotham has published in July,
was the fact that no carrier wants it. And according to the law, it is required that this company, City Bridge, has one provider has signed up, otherwise you can't install it. They claim they have the one provider.
Who is it?
They want to tell us.
Oh,
Well,
they don't have it.
Probably
Oh,
mobile or Spectrum.
Something.
And it is.
Or no, Jim Nolan's, maybe it's Nolan.
Oh,
Yeah,
James
All
Nolan.
right.
Who I think.
All
right.
For Spruce Street.
I still don't
What?
understand this thing. Hold on a second.
So you're
Gotta
paying
help
the
me
same
out.
cell bill you pay, it's just that that's where the carrier service would be.
This instead of being
like
on top of.
building.
Instead of those.
It's
things-
expanding your,
Instead of it on a
Oh, I
light
know.
bulb,
Right now, I'm just trying to figure out how.
No, not instead of the Link 5G is only for Wi-Fi. And so anybody can have free Wi-Fi. That's different than cell service. Your cell service is your mobile phone
That's
service.
different.
In my home, let's say on 100 John, and there's one at, I don't know, this one here.
88.5.
Yeah, yeah. Does that mean if I have that tower there, I don't have to pay for Wi-Fi?
No, no, just like you don't get to choose which tower on which building your phone connects to.
Yeah.
It's the same thing. It's just
Same
why-
thing.
take it off the building.
Right, currently, there are
An eyesore in front of me, you're not really serving me anything, you're just using up public space.
Additionally, be aware that they don't go inside. They don't actually emit
It's
enough
only on the
radiation to
street.
go inside. It's only for the street. It's Wi-Fi for the street, not for people.
So that we can talk more and be more occupied and agitate each other. So that's very important, you know.
Very important to understand, and it's unbelievably opaque.
Thank you, Alice.
I think this is a fabulous one.
This one shows it, I think I agree with you.
This is
I
very
think it
good.
really shows it.
Egg spruce.
Yeah.
That's, I guess, if that one happens, I don't understand.
That's unbelievable. That's accurate. That's your best one yet. That's incredible. It clocks the war. That
It is accurate. I mean, that's the sighting of it.
Well, that's,
You know, I changed the one that you said was wrong. I mean, I was pretty thorough.
Yeah, that would have been great, but I know it was on the wrong side of
I
the street.
changed it.
Yeah, all right.
I think it still makes a good point. I mean,
Okay.
so this is the one you mentioned. You can also take the view the other way. So in writing, we can make that point.
The argument, this is a cobblestone street, isn't it?
Yes, some of them are cobblestone.
No, but I'm saying even,
This
It's on
one
a
is.
sidewalk, though.
Yeah.
right.
No, but I like the
But
cobblestone.
I'm saying
streets.
despite the fact that it's surrounded by a non-historic building, the street is still.
Sure.
Oh, and you have to dig up the street? That's
No,
awful.
just the historic. He's on the history. He's on histories.
Yeah.
Wait a second.
You all have to dig up the street.
But
Of
that's
course,
actually a good point.
Harrison Street is a cobblestone street.
From the
and you have to
Is
dig
it?
it up.
From where to where?
highway to.
All the way.
all the way.
Yeah,
Ask us, we know these couple.
Yes.
Yes.
it's one of the newer ones.
You're gonna have to leave me like a few minutes to go over other things, just, okay, go
Sure.
ahead, keep going.
But, yeah, let's also, yes, I think, again, back to where I started, like, we'll be fine, we'll go through this, obviously, everybody's gonna agree, there's gonna be one person who doesn't, whatever. Then there is a lot of hard work to do after that,
Yeah.
right? So,
I've done a lot of it.
yes, great, but we'll still have to reconvene after, so.
Yes,
Let-
yes.
let-
All right,
okay.
I'll keep
So
going.
this is the one I.
Oh, wait, go back, what are we looking at? That's the.
Oh, this was
second one?
865, so 866 Harrison, so you have, of course, yeah, you have this district, you have this individual landmark, it's, there's
Mentioned
just
the
so many.
And the federal style of townhouse.
The federal, that may go the way of the West, remember? They won't, but.
No, they won't.
It'll be shadowed. It'll be
Yeah,
shadowed.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
So,
Yeah.
more,
So this is a lot of.
Good job.
Good,
okay, so then this one was the one I switched, which was, you got, the pole is all the way down here. I mean, it's, in fairness, it's past Greenwich Street, so I put it there, it's not there.
But it is.
But it's totally like, this is like quintessential Tribeca, and this is the cobbles, and so,
It's such an intrusion.
yeah, okay.
And
so-
now the other thing that I have is that, you know, that there are 100 lampposts that are landmarks in New York City.
Uh-huh,
And we, in our district, have 20 of them. And they are all very nearby in the financial district and in
Sure,
Tribeca.
that's good.
So you're
That's
actually
good.
adding a piece of vocabulary that shouldn't be,
It doesn't ma-
I would
doesn't-
argue.
that's
Given,
good.
yeah.
But also
I did not know about that.
they also
the
spoke,
Bishop Cook ones you're talking about, the
There's,
ones,
the-
Yes.
I'm not sure, they're all different. I mean,
Okay.
if you look at
I'll-
landmarks, it's
I'll stop.
actually,
Yeah. I mean, I
Yeah,
don't know my docs.
And then we can mention that back to the one that's on Spruce, remember the park and has all those historic lamp thing, aren't those lamps also in the?
Well, we have gas
City
lamp in City
Hall,
Hall
the
Park,
City
we have
Hall.
gas lamps, yep.
It's all
Okay.
blocking
The other
that too.
thing was that, correct me if I'm wrong on the Zoom, they do have a less intrusive version of this that goes on top of a lamppost.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So this is,
That's what
Again.
they're advocating, they're gonna start to develop now.
no, they have, it exists.
They do, there is one.
But
that's-
this, that's what the point, this
What
is,
does that look like?
it's just, there's one actually not that.
It does not look like a tampon like this.
Yeah,
Yeah.
now I'm curious.
There's one not that far,
It's like a box?
it looks like a 50-gallon drum, basically.
Oh, really?
On top of a lamp. It's not terrible.
Lampposts, and your argument is,
It doesn't-
we need even more than that. All over the city, if you look up now that you're aware, you will see them all over.
I
There-
wonder what the scandal is behind all of
This
this.
is a cash grab.
I wanna know, but we're not there, we gotta do it this way, but there's a scandal here.
So as an alternative to this,
I want, no, I am,
Oh.
sorry, I am so stumped with this idiocy that I keep going back to the beginning.
And this isn't obvious.
The
Well, this one was
city,
already rejected by
the
Chip.
city, right? Is presented by this private company, this idea, right, for these towers, correct? And the city says, okay, great, you can have 58 locations, I'm making this stuff up. And boom, it all starts, correct? Nobody asked us whether we wanted them, nobody asked us where we wanted them. No, but the deal is already done, am I correct? Remember, listen to what I'm asking very carefully. The city gets a private company who comes and presents to them an idea, somebody, I don't care who. And they're like, okay, we'll do these towers and we'll provide this service. The city goes, okay, fine, great. Without asking us if we want this service or if we want these locations. But they've essentially assigned this company and paid them.
That is correct.
but this service has a,
Oh, I'm
it has
going
a,
back to Serbia.
it has a place.
I mean, well, having 5G in the city is
The service
important.
has a place. This is the purpose behind this is to cut out the access inequality that does exist. So there's a real issue.
Where is the access to
There's just not an issue in these locations.
I know, but let me ask you, you can go, I have clients, right, who get money, let's say from Verizon, to install those boxes, whatever, they haven't thought about them in 8 years, on their rooftops, right? And, you know, if you attach it to your parapet, then you're gonna have to take it down when the parapet's getting replaced, which is when I got brought in. Is that the direct competition that these towers are in? Where Verizon brings in their own box and pays the building owner, I don't know,
Right,
$100.
we mentioned this, yes.
I want one on my building.
Exactly.
Now, that is now in direct
What is
competition.
That's right, that's, we talked
What
about
is the
that.
rationale behind this? I
So this
will
was
get
al-
that.
So this is, that's an individual landmark, and it was already rejected by SHPO for that reason, and
And we never even got to see it, and thank God SHPO
yeah,
got
so
it.
it's, you know, but it's a good case for, I mean, if you tell me that they had rationale for that, based on, I assume they did some of their own research and
And this was
realized
good, right?
this would be blocking
Yeah,
that,
that's what this
so I
one
think
said.
that.
That unfortunately.
SHPO, yeah.
Yeah, but they're gonna take it down.
Jail building there?
No, this isn't a jail building.
No, that's-
but,
no, no,
uh,
This is the one
That's a
police,
police
this is the first police, yes,
Right.
next slip, this is the first police
Where the
precinct.
landmarks.
That's
It's
a
an
new
individual
thing.
land.
So it's called police building or jail building instead of police building.
No, I'm sorry. It's a, maybe it was a jail one.
like,
All right, so, okay,
State jurisdiction, I don't know.
so where are we?
Maybe it could be this,
One of the things.
was it Al?
Oh, yes.
Why the state? Why is the state
Why are we presenting?
involved here versus the city or?
Oh, because the federal government has a law that requires oversight, both on, in terms of the historic preservation and the environmental assessment of these, of any kind of, you know,
Anywhere in the US.
infrastructure. Yes, I assume, yes. It's called Section 106 of the FCC, that federal
Oh, so it is the
communication
FCC.
conventions, yes.
But the city, on our behalf, the politicians that we elect, did not consider, did not ask us, did not make.
No,
a-
No.
No, and in fact, it was Congressman Nadler through the pushing of the Upper East Side groups that we've talked about,
Figured
who
this out.
figured this out.
Mhm.
Uh,
I mean, simply stated.
So we should all band together and sue.
No,
Well, now they're doing what they're supposed to do, which is this review, and we're now participating as is required. And so this is what brings us here tonight. And unfortunately,
Yay.
we have no preservation group in which to, you know,
Yeah.
and I tried to get the Tribeca Trust. You know, they got it.
Alice, now I'm going to say now that I've had a little more, because where was I supposed to get any of this? So now I would retract my statement,
How about a one size fits all?
say they're all ugly, whatever. This is so much more. But I thought we were just presenting, like any other building we're going to build. I didn't understand that this is serious.
Unfortunately, it's taken a lot
We're
of,
gonna
yeah.
back up. So this is not a strategy that I would go with now that I understand what.
Okay, so I think I know you don't want to make this an all-nighter, so I'm just gonna quickly, for the record, I've identified, so as I promised, I would give a schematic resolution
Yeah,
format, which you're all welcome to reject, but just to get started, and I have the whereas clauses that identify. No, that's different. Okay, so what you gave
Yeah,
us, and
this.
thanks very much, is the draft of the environmental protections resolution on the.
I got it.
A basic idea of 5G in our neighborhood.
And that's what you have.
And that's what you have to read, and it's pretty close to what I think is right.
No, I read it. Okay.
It's okay with you? Okay.
Yeah.
This, which I've just begun and which Jason and you all are gonna be working on, is the resolution of the specific sites of the 7 link towers in our neighborhood. And so, well, let me just finish this. So the whereas that I have so far goes over some of the stuff we talked about, a little bit of the history, where the 7 sites are, the fact that EPC, the Environmental Protection Committee, had already opined, we had a presentation, we opposed it. The fact, and there's other things I said that the lack of community engagement was terrible, that we only received 1 email per site, mostly all in the summer and mostly in August when the board was closed, so none of us knew about it. As Lucy knows, I was having a heart attack. And despite the lack of communication, there was a groundswell of opposition from all preservation groups, all the local electeds, and almost all of the community boards who have had a presentation of this 5G. And this is backed up with a million footnotes, which I'm happy to provide. And then this summer, in the recent New York Times article, I quote, "There's harm to having these 32-foot tall futurist towers, often with large video display terminals on them in residential neighborhoods." And the Cranes report that I sent you all, where Matthew Fraser, the head of OTI, is considering a redesign campaign. And this is as late as March and June. I'm talking numbers here of this year, months ago, okay? So why are we putting them in if we have all this pushback and all this question by the people who are making it themselves? Maybe people are right, these are really hideous. Then I have Congressman Nadler's ability to have gotten these federal laws, back in action. These are all whereas clauses, that the New York City's Public Design Commission was deeply unsatisfied with the design of the 5G. I have this in both. Calling the tower design, and I'm quoting from their meetings, a great burden to the commission, and the design is being aberrant, abysmal, and obscene by different commissioners, and urged for the towers to be redesigned. And I go over what happened in some of those meetings in terms of design, again, so we have a little bit of background. And the fact that PDC had asked for a pilot of no more than 200 poles to sort of get a better sense of what this really was about. And they say to ensure that the community is sure, that any community is sure they are getting the service they need and want, and are amenable to the trade-off with the blight that is coming to them. So the push by the commissioner at the time, who was Tish, our new now sanitation commissioner, was to PDC, it was urgent, that the needs for the digital divide are so important that they're telling the commissioners, you have to approve this. But then you ask, why is it that these things are coming into areas that are the opposite of need in the most expensive zip codes in New York City, in Manhattan, Tribeca, Greenwich Village, FiDi,
yes.
Among them in the world.
Right, thank you. So
It's
that's,
also the same commissioner who ordered the phones that.
right.
Okay, so.
So, and then I just finished with, I go on to talking about these meetings and some of the things we talked about, the polls, I refer to the 100 polls, and then we go into, the specific sites. So, well, Jason, I just say that the committee is reviewing each site as follows, and that's where we would put 66 Harrison and all the things we've talked about, and each one, and so you have time, because we could amend this, I think, in a letter if we needed to, but after the board meeting, to anything else you discover at these 7 sites.
Well, that's why I would like a brief time where I just lay these slides out in the meetings. If we could just get some really creative ideas to add in, I will race to put it in the thing, and that would be the greatest thing, like have a productive meeting. Yes, Susan?
Not gonna.
So, yeah, it's not, I mean, you have to realize, and tell me if I'm wrong, most people aren't gonna read this. Okay, so you have to come up with what is the most salient and why we are doing
Well,
it.
I can, my idea would be, you take all of Alice's stuff, and then you take the site, and then you go and you do a
Yeah.
360 view, whether
Yeah.
looking at it or from it, and I'll pick whichever views
Take a
have a
few.
thing.
Take you.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Each site might only have 3 views. I'll
Right.
analyze each one, and then we just say, you see the church looking east, you see the water looking west, you see the church and the water looking northwest, and then put them all in whereases, or they may even come in the front of all that great stuff, just to kind of highlight the actual site at the very beginning and have the backup of all the great work, but whatever, again, I'm sure everyone will opt in, and then we'll just kind of, go.
I don't know if it's worth mentioning in this, but there's nothing to compare this to. Meaning,
Right.
there's no precedent for this.
Like a Tesla tower, like the
What?
original tower that Tesla broke, that thing that,
I
like,
don't think I know.
oh, in Jersey, he built like a radio tower once,
Oh,
like,
really?
yeah.
Oh, that Tesla.
Yeah, no,
Got it, okay, yes.
Original.
But meaning, there's nothing to say like, oh, well, there's been XYZ piece of street furniture that is similar, I mean,
You could say coal burning, coal burning,
like a smokestack.
yeah, smokestack, there were, right? Like early days, you'd see like huge boiler
But
flues.
certainly not in modern times, right?
Yeah.
This argument is their own towers, and this is 3x that, right? They're totally just in.
Yeah, I mean, I think that might be more back to that kind of comment that someone made about like, we already have a very congested streetscape with poles and, stop signs.
And narrow
construction
sidewalks
signs.
and blah,
I
blah,
mean,
blah.
it was actually hard when I was walking around like on 95 Wall Street. I was like, how is this picture gonna look like anything but shit everywhere? So, because there's just construction and,
Yeah.
but, whatever, you put a big pole in the picture and it works,
It's
so.
also really important to, if you really feel strongly, which I think a lot of people do, that, you have to really imagine this could happen. So, how upset you'll be when you're
Yeah.
walking by it. You really have to call your electeds and really let them know this is important. Now, I have reached out to everybody in our gang down here, and they all are supposedly writing a letter, but I think the more they hear from people, just, few would be helpful, because I think it's like a lost, it's just nobody's talking about it, it's not in the news,
Well, I
you know.
think there has to be maybe for each of our electeds, the resolution should be sent with a cover letter that says, we are letting you know how we feel and we need your support and included in all of this.
Oh, absolutely.
Not only is this excellent, mandatory, but can we in the end also make a plan for a presentation that is concise and precise, and say, point, no one
Anywhere.
is going to read 90 pages.
But we don't have.
That's why we.
That's why we're doing this.
No, I know, but like his graphic and, make it like site one, boom, this, that, and that, so that if people look at it and it's dummy.
Well, that's what he's.
No,
And I'll be sorry.
Special effects.
If it-
Actually use it.
We
have
have
to
to
be-
stand up.
You have to
Don't
be
read it,
really
don't read it
accurate
like-
though, Jason, on this, because, and it's important to write whatever, but some of that's looking like 15, 60 feet high,
Yeah.
because you will, OTI will be there, you see the
Right.
bridge will be there, you wanna
Right.
make sure,
Where are they gonna be? Tomorrow?
well, they may very well come.
Oh.
Or they
What are
may,
you talking about though?
yeah,
Oh,
or,
no.
We don't have a minute's peace.
but
Vicky.
once you,
This
that's
is
a public
tomorrow.
document, as is
Okay,
tonight.
Okay, I'll,
Things-
God grant me the wisdom, the serenity.
my best.
Protect them
My
from
best.
it.
And I think I come up before you, or I should, because I'll be talking about the generic and I'll do my best to be as concise
I
as
know,
possible.
you need to explain to us, people, here's an issue that came up. It was discovered like this.
She will.
We do not know that this even existed. The background is important.
Well, that's what I spent.
That's
part
what you
of
spent all this time on.
48 hours on.
Yeah.
And that's
Do we need to vote on this now?
Yes.
Well, I think, yes, why not? Vote on Alice's,
The
Draft.
whereas I
Yes,
said,
absolutely.
and then the specifics that Jason and
I call
everybody
the
has laid out.
Seconded by Vicky.
okay, perfect,
Jerome?
okay.
Yes.
Third, yes. Okay, we have one more item. Yeah, unfortunately, was it? Oh, no.
Well, let's wait, let's-
88 Pine, 88 Pine.
Oh, right. Do you have a picture of
Wait, we
it?
have to vote.
Yes, we all said yes.
Okay.
No recusals, no.
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 Motion carries, not even.
88 Pine.
What about 88?
Presentation still up, or you want to leave?
Okay,
88
88
Pine.
Pines.
Anyone online has any questions?
I appreciate you saying how beautiful.
88, do we have any pictures of this or anything?
I mean, it's the white building that we all love, and they want to put this crazy thing outside of it, they keep jamming it into our face. So what's
Right.
next, what's new?
So, since the last jamming it in front of us, which happened in the land use committee,
Yeah,
we reviewed this applicant who
PSA,
wants to
please,
make
tell
big
me.
changes to the pops at 88 Pine. Thank you, Lucy.
Yeah.
There's the plan, and that is so. Here.
I'll just make it really quick.
yes.
What was proposed was these two
Tell me,
Awnings and
Yeah.
2 vestibules.
Yes.
I remember
Which
that.
are in our pop. Right
Big
now,
piece.
there's none of this, and these vestibules are inside the building, which are working fine,
Yeah.
and are fine for him.
yes,
They clearly want to have a sign above this structure with the 88 underneath to
ruining the
get
whole
people
thing.
to come into their building.
Yep.
We appreciate that, but I wish.
There
we
it
could
is.
have- Yeah, there it is.
Go back to the.
Everything's upside down,
That is
everything's upside down, guys.
sculpture, the 88,
Ridiculous.
which is when I got up there.
That's not even what an 8 looks like, it has to have a bigger base.
So
It's ridiculous.
now, this all stays, Jason, but we thought and said, if you're gonna do this kind of thing to the pops, the very least you should do is on the adjacent pops.
Yes.
Fix it up.
Okay,
Well,
yes,
Okay, so
What are
what
they
they're
gonna
doing
do?
is.
so that's it, these crazy benches? that
They're,
we see here?
they're putting in these 3 benches
Terrible,
and permanent seating, but they don't talk at all about the upkeep or
Right.
whatever.
no, thank you.
We're maintaining this, and we never got to see, the reason I brought it here is we never got to see these changes to the house.
I hate to say it, but
On a document we received at the community board.
We don't, yeah, no.
So they want to add those other benches across the way.
And I'll tell you one of
This?
the reasons, this and these.
No, one of the reasons they will.
these ridiculous things?
Now,
These
one of
things?
the reasons they want to do this is because the skateboarders.
Yes.
Yeah, arms
Crying the hell out of it.
there, and the security gotta come in, so now they're gonna pop in and populate it.
Wrong with it, the question, though, should have come before the board,
Yeah.
1. 2, we should
They
have
said
it
no.
up. They said no,
Correct.
we asked, and they said they would not come again, that they were very angry at us, that we were somehow
Oh.
very, whatever. And that this. We weren't in support of it because it's public space.
Right.
We
Who-
wanted to-
Have some style and pick a bench that fits in.
So the
They get
question
Wayfair.
before,
The
this is a resolution
Bench also looks like it's a
I
private.
don't know, it's fine, Joe.
choice.
Why, but hold on,
Wait,
like,
is this, wait, I'm
The
Let's be
idea
careful
of
here.
this is to, if you all agree to have Tammy as our chair write a letter that
Oh.
memorializes the fact that this committee did not feel that this was an adequate exchange, or you did.
We
Yeah.
did not.
don't.
We don't, we
And
don't.
that's
Three benches,
What's the exchange?
way back.
Nothing quite really.
well, nothing, I mean, that's the point.
When you get 3 benches.
What I'm trying to say is that the original plan, they were touched, well, they were not touching the space, Jared, so they did come back, the applicant, and actually try to make, in their minds, an improvement to this space. So in fairness, they are listening to us. But we never were given an opportunity, which I'm bringing up tonight, to say, well, what do you think of what they're giving us? And so that's the question.
We're on to
What do you
that.
think of this? And I would just say, you know, I think everyone should have an opinion on it, the whole board. And, you know, they were missing things in my mind, like, you know, fixing the broken, looking like it's broken bench here and making sure this is better maintained.
How about
Sometimes-
how about some greenery?
Okay, well, so all these sorts of things, yes, thank you, Jared.
So you're saying that rather than a resolution, we need a letter?
Yeah, well,
Asking them to come, saying that we're displeased with just.
Well, you actually, we could take it as a resolution saying we do not accept the amended, POPs plan. And we could do it and then.
do you have
put in, like,
grounds for that,
suggested-
being that it's not at all in
I
the
know.
historic district? I'm just asking.
It's not landmark.
Maybe that's why it's a
Preservation.
letter.
Landmarks preservation.
It's a BSA application, that's
That's true.
why it's not going to
Planning.
a city plan. And that's why we don't know what BSA requires. I didn't bother to
Right.
look it up, but we're here as a board.
Our,
We're in
Okay,
charge.
I mean, I'm down.
would be the Landmarks and Preservation Committee?
Yes, but
Yes,
that's
we can
because
write it.
tomorrow night is the full board,
Right.
and that's
Right, no,
why.
I'm saying preservation.
Oh, that's,
Not just landmarks, preservation.
very good.
Very
Okay,
good.
there's a tie-in. Okay, so we are writing a resolution. Don't go away, Jason. We are writing a resolution saying that we don't approve of the POPs changes that were presented tonight.
No, we
Am
don't.
I doing?
We're not officially presented.
I mean,
Canal Street. I'm sorry.
So that we don't approve.
is this gonna be a new business thing or no? We can just get it under our committee,
No,
is
it's
that
in
right?
your committee tonight.
Okay, so then I'll write a quick thing and Alice will give it a quick look tomorrow. and
Fine.
Shape it into. for
So then
tomorrow.
All in favor? Second, I call the question.
All the
Okay, who's
questions.
next? Vicky, go ahead.
Second, that we're gonna write about how the preservationists don't feel like this is the right
Always
solution.
appreciate board
Thank you
members
for coming, we've been.
for having, looked at.
I second. I
Jason, I'm sorry, okay, sorry.
Okay.
I think I can write this. I can help you with this.
So
Agreed, right?
I'm writing, the 272 Canal Street, right?
Okay, any new
And
business?
I'll
Oh,
send you what I have.
No.
Thank you.
Can the reading be adjourned?
Yes.
Yes, thank you guys for all your hard work.
Awesome, yeah,
Thank
thank
you
you.
very much, Jason.
Yeah.
I know.
I'll turn her up now.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Vera, let's go to the bio first.